Welcome, TBW Clips. I am Tyson. Today, Kamala Harris. Who will her VP pick be? I think they're narrowing it down. Let's take a look at this clip and see what they're talking about here.
The left has increasingly become explicitly anti-child and anti-family. They've encouraged young families not to have children at all because of concerns over climate change. They've suggested that people who do have children are somehow being selfish, when I think being a parent is actually the most selfless thing that you can do.
For better or for worse, vice presidential picks have consequences. Donald Trump has made his, and Republicans have been on the defensive over J.D. Vance's past comment.
Are they really that consequential? I don't know. The main person is the president. VP is kind of in the shadows. I don't know if the VP actually... I don't know if it has the impact people say or believe it to be. You look at 2020. So Kamala Harris, VP, but she got nothing, no vote or nothing. Clyburn didn't even root for her. I think Clyburn was the guy who kind of got Joe Biden elected, if you can remember back. When he came out and fully endorsed Biden, that's when his campaign took off because he was able to get the black vote, right? So Kamala Harris ran for president. She didn't get any other black vote, but they used her to get the black vote as the VP. I think black people were going to vote for Biden regardless of who the VP was, if Kamala was the VP or not. I think blacks still would have voted for Biden. So all it does is just give a different type of talking point. So I don't know if the VP actually does as much as people say they do. Let's keep going.
Positions pretty much ever since. Enter Kamala Harris, who will announce her choice reportedly on Tuesday, with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro seen as the front-runner, just ahead of Arizona Senator Mark Kelly and a pack of well-known progressive faces. Panel.
Look like she has all white people. I think there's one female and the rest are all white men. So I don't know. Like I said, if she was to get another black male, let's say a black male, you got Hakeem Jeffries out there, you got Cory Booker, or if she was to get a Hispanic VP, or even another female, have an all-female ticket. But because the reason why I'm bringing the race and stuff up, because that's what the left does. They're all about identity politics. So there's no diverse picks as far as VP. It's just all white male. And I think they went after Trump for picking a white male. Was that because now there's two white males? Have someone of color and then someone white? I don't know. But I digress.
What do you find, if anything, compelling about this process? I'm going straight to you, Bill King.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be Kelly or Shapiro, and my guess is Shapiro because the Democrats can win the election without Arizona. They can't win it without Pennsylvania, so that would be probably my guess.
So Shapiro, I don't know if Shapiro's a governor or senator of Pennsylvania, right? So because he represents Pennsylvania means it does not mean that it's a lock for that state. We don't know. Pennsylvania right now, I think, seems to be tilting towards Trump. But yeah, Shapiro, white, I think he's Jewish, right? Most people haven't really, I've never heard of Shapiro until now. None of these VP picks I've heard of. So she could have got someone who was established or whatever. But Looks like Shapiro seems to be the front runner according to this guy because of his demographic, where he's at. I disagree, but we'll continue.
Who's going to get it? I thought the J.D. Vance selection was very odd when it took place because, first of all, anybody that had been reading knew he'd said all these terrible things about Trump before. And then the second thing is, if you're trying to pick a VP, you're trying to expand your base. And J.D. Vance didn't expand anything. He doubled down on the existing base that Trump has. You know, the big problem that
like I said, I don't think the VP has that big of a deal as far as, you know, people know who Trump is. Vance, I don't think the VP really does that. I personally would have liked to seen Vivek Ramaswamy in that position, but you know, I digress. Come at me if you want. That's fine. Let's keep going.
Republicans have had in the last couple of elections are white suburban women. And, you know, and now you've got Jennifer Aniston out there. I mean, of all people in the world, I would not want on my case, it would be Jennifer Aniston.
All right, Gary, Bill makes some good points about unforced errors.
Yeah, I wouldn't. J.D. Vance was not my pick. I would have rather seen one of the great Republican women, and there was a bunch of them that would be a good choice. For whatever reason, he's the pick, so we're stuck with him. I think the criticism of him talking about the importance of people having children is right. There's a birth dearth in Russia and China.
All they did was just talk about he's a white male, a woman. That's what they wanted. Identity politics again. Identity. Who has the best policies? Who's going to support me the most? J.D. Vance definitely was against Trump, but he switched. I personally think the reason why Trump is getting more heat than any president in recent memory was because he used to be a Democrat and he switched to Republican. So they feel betrayed. He used to donate to Hillary Clinton. He used to donate to Democrats consistently. And then all of a sudden he switches. So I think that had to do with more of the hate that he's gotten also, because he was going to get it regardless. If you're a Republican, you're going to be seen as a racist. But this is a little deeper because I think it hits their heart because he used to be one and he turned on them.
Now, which it really has questions going forward in decades whether they're going to survive as modern powers. So it's important to have children. But I don't think the campaign should be about that. You know, if people decide they don't want to have children, that's their business. There are so many issues to run on, and we're not running on them at this point. We're talking about what is Kamala's race. I mean, look, the country for the most part is a multi-racial country, for God's sakes.
No, they're not. The people who keep bringing this stuff up are Democrats, and Republicans are responding to it. They always talk about the border, inflation. They talk about that stuff. High rent, high gas. It's not just about the race. If they talk about race, they have to respond. So all that stuff about when Trump went to the did the interview with the black journalists, all females, the first question they asked was about race, Kamala Harris's race. So he had to respond. Now that's all they're talking about because he answered the question. This is ridiculous what this guy is talking about. They're talking about race in response.
That's not an issue. It doesn't matter. It matters on the issues, and if the Republicans do not start talking about the real issues facing the country, then they're going to.
They have been.
Just 30 seconds.
So I think that if I had my pick, right, we're talking about the VP pick, but this is not going to happen. If I were Vice President Harris, I would go and find John Kasich, pull him off the bench to show that the voice of a true independent. This is the voice of a true independent, right? Because he was a guy that was known for working with both sides, right? And it would cure the white male problem. It would cure the Republican problem. It would cure all the little areas that she can't touch, right? So they can send me a check. Going to VP picks, Donald Trump, as he has done Donald has done for years. He made a dumb pick in picking J.D. Vance because J.D. Vance has run his mouth in the past and he doesn't know how to stop running his mouth now. This man criticized the world's greatest gymnast for having the courage to step down in Tokyo with her mental illness. He called her a quitter in the midst of her. Called her a quitter in the midst of her winning gold medals, representing America, instead of recognizing her for the hero that she is.
You know, we all know what that was about. Mental health. That was during the George Floyd stuff. Blacks revolting against America. That's all that was. So he can criticize whoever he wants. And she deserved it. She quit.
For the United States, he chose to criticize her and call her a quitter.
Wow.
She quit.
April, I call those.
She just then started having mental problems at that particular time. Come on.
Unfortunately, this guy doesn't know how to stay muffled, J.D. Vance, and it may potentially cost Donald Trump the election.
This is crazy. We're talking about Kamala Harris's VP pick. And all they're doing is starting to bash Trump's VP pick. This is ridiculous. Scare tactics. Is that all they have? Talk about the picks. Who do you got? Nobody else. He said John Kasich, who wasn't even on there. He's doing hypotheticals. Kasich is a Republican. I think he ran for the Republican ticket in 2020 and lost, right? I don't think Kasich would even jump on the Harris bandwagon if he was asked, because I'm sure he doesn't believe in most of the stuff that they're trying to push. Let's keep going.
Kamala is seeing what happened here, and hopefully she makes a better choice for VP. Somebody that can touch a base of people outside of the people that she can touch and influence.
All right, the Tomorrow Bill hot phone. The hot phone is ringing.
Through identity. They're saying they're gonna, like the guy said, pick up. Let's just finish this, and I'll give that.
And the Vice President's asking your advice. Who
I think she should pick Shapiro. I really do. I think that would be the best choice for her. Bill made a good point. Like you said, you can't win without Pennsylvania, and I do hope that she gets somebody who I could care less about what those far left. That they ain't running, you are. So make sure you do what's best for you in the country, not them, to get this done. Because Donald did you a favor picking Jackass Part 2 when he picked J.D. Vance. So we got that freebie. That's a freebie. Don't let it go.
Does this shore up? Does the Shapiro pick shore up the Jewish vote?
No, because he's number 2. It's not going to do that.
Are you saying most people can't help if they ain't number 1?
No, they understand who number 1 is, and if the key speech I saw from Kamala is that number 1, a couple of things. She didn't show up for Bibi Netanyahu's speech before Congress. She should have. Number 2, when she gives, after her meeting with Bibi, she comes out and gives a statement. And the first paragraph sounds great. She gets in the second paragraph and starts reciting Hamas talking points about people starving in Gaza. When
they don't want drivers knowing this, so listen closely before it gets taken down. If you're using any of these companies, you're like.
All right, so there we have it. Who's going to be the VP pick? They're looking at Shapiro because he's a Jewish guy, and that's the demographic. It has nothing to do with policy. And I'm sure they used to love J.D. Vance. The same people who are hating on him now, they used to love J.D. Vance, I'm sure, if you go back. They were praising him when he was insulting and talking mess about Trump. They loved him. So all this stuff is about identity. What type of demographic can we get, not based off of policy, but based off of how you look? So they're having issues with the Palestinian and Israel, right, in Gaza. So the young people who are in the colleges protesting for Palestine against Israel, they want to keep their Israeli buddies to keep voting, so they get Shapiro. So would that alienate the people who are for Hamas, the Palestinians? Will that alienate them? I don't think it's going to galvanize Jewish people to come out because they're playing both sides of the field. You know, are you guys with Israel or are you guys with the Palestine? Of course, you know, you say you just want the ceasefire, but you know that's down the middle of the pack. But hey, what are you guys going to do? Will Shapiro help with the Jewish vote? I don't think so. If you think I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great day.